Welcome to the Sports Card Lessons Podcast. I'm your host, Big Ken. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on a streaming service, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I drop any new content. Happy Sunday. It's been a while since it's just been me in a recorded episode, but I did have a busy hobby weekend. I went to East Coast National on Friday and the local Plainville show on Saturday. And I'm also getting ready to head to Anaheim this week for the West Coast Card Show. So I thought I'd get up early Sunday morning, get you an episode out, a nicely recorded episode, and get right back at preparing for West Coast Card Show. And if you're going to be at that show, definitely come by and see me. I will be there all weekend, Thursday through Sunday. My table number 0419. And I've actually gone through three partners since I booked this table. I've had three people that were going to split the table with me, and we're less than a week away. I'm leaving on Wednesday. The show starts Thursday, and I will be solo. So sitting here thinking as I'm getting ready, man, it's nice to have the extra space, all 8 feet, especially this show like that, right? Until you have to use the bathroom, or you want to go get something to eat, or you want to go shop or look at, somebody else's cases. Then it's always nice to have somebody at the table with you, right? So you could run off and do some things. So yes, I will be there. I'll be there all weekend. Definitely come by and see me. Friday, I went down to the East Coast National at the Westchester County Center. I got there for the 1 p.m. VIP early bird. We talked about that last week when Jonathan was on. Homer Sports Card says, I'm not paying that $40 admission to get in there at 1 o'clock. I did. I got there at 1 o'clock. I like the idea of I'm able to walk the show without it being crowded, right? So for me, my plan is always to get there by 1 and out by 3 to avoid traffic. Here in Connecticut, driving to or from New York, try to drive south, forget it. I mean, it's you're in traffic no matter. I'd rather drive to Boston than to New York anytime because the traffic is just so much easier. But, for me, get down there at 1 o'clock. It's not crowded. I'm not speed walking, but I can walk from table to table. I know what I'm looking for. So it helps me, get through a show like that in 2 hours and try to avoid the traffic on the way home. I was surprised this year how many people did opt for the $40 buy-in to get in early. I've done this. This is my 4th time doing this. And this particular time, it was pretty, I'm not going to say it was crowded, but there was a lot more people there, probably 60 to 70% more people that I've seen in previous Friday shows. And I don't know, too, if that's because it was the upstairs and the downstairs. So this show, they opened up the downstairs room, too. So that when they would only open the downstairs for East Coast National, not the other shows at that location throughout the year. So I don't know if that's going to be the same with Lucky's running this show, but they opened up the downstairs. And I do have to say, I was a little disappointed that there were a lot of empty tables downstairs, that dealers just hadn't shown up yet for the show. I did have 2 pickups I'll share with you in just a few minutes. I did not negotiate on too many cards in the room. There wasn't a lot that I was looking for in the room that I was willing to buy. But the cards that I did negotiate on, I did not get. So, dealers were, hey, it's early. I'm firm on my prices. If the card's still here Sunday, I'll be willing to make a deal. But isn't that the market right now? Like I'd like to say, what a waste to spending $40 to get in, and dealers are going to be, strong out, firm on their prices, right? But really, isn't that the market right now? The hobby market is strong. People are buying. I know dealers are buying at higher percentages than they're used to put inventory in their cases. They're fighting against repackers who are paying even higher percentages to come in and empty the room out to take those cards and put them in repack somewhere else. Um, so with all that, attendees are paying higher prices. So if you're showing up to the show and you want a card, right? It's you're either paying the higher price. I mean, everybody's going to eBay to look up comps, right? And you're like, well, this card sold on eBay. I expect to get a percentage off of that. Sometimes it's better off just going on eBay and buying the card, right? When you're looking at with the prices that you'll have to pay. And I'm a dealer. I understand we have expenses. There's a lot of other things going on there, but it's not as simple. These percentages are not as simple in a strong market as they are in a weak market. And right now we're in a strong market. The hobby is alive and well. People are paying higher percentages. They're paying up for cards. And, sometimes people just want cards, right? we all talk about everybody's buying to flip the cards. And, sometimes people are just buying a card because they like the card. They want to put it in their PC. They want to hold on to it for a while. I'm going to share a card with you as one of my favorite pickups in a long time. And I didn't even know the card existed till I saw it. Then I wanted it, right? So that happens too. Um, and on the other hand, you think, man, is that a problem with the VIP? Get in early, and you're going to pay up on. I mean, you're going to get first look at these cards, and that was always designed for people who are looking for specific cards and really don't care how much they are, but they want to, if the card is in the room, they want to be able to buy it. Right. That was the design of the VIP, get in there early. And I think there was just a ton of people rolling suitcases around, just repackers just trying to, buy out tables to, beat everybody else to the punch just to get these cards. And I know they're working against each other now too. So one dealer I went to had a Caitlin Clark logo prism PSA 9. That card's been selling between $550 and $640. She had it at $800. And I said, do you have any room on that? She said, no, I am firm on that price. I will not sell that card for $1 less than 800. Okay. Will she get it? Maybe somebody's going to come into that room and say, yeah, that's the card I want. I don't care if it's 650 or 800. I'm going to buy it and go home. And, that not for me, right? I couldn't buy that. I could, but I'm not buying that card at $800. But I had to ask, right? Because I know, that 540 to 640, I think is a good price on that card right now. But 800, I don't think is a good price at all on that card. I went downstairs. I saw a few cards I might be interested in. And when I was trying to look up recent comps, I realized the internet was terrible downstairs. Not sure if it was my AT&T network or it was going to be like that. It was the whole internet. But if it was the internet, I'm sure that hindered those people downstairs all weekend buying and selling. I did see one guy that had his own hotspot set up down there. I don't know if that was going to help him or not, because I know those are based on cell phone signal. So that could be a problem, being in a show like that, in a room like that, if the internet is not working well, right? I did have two pickups. Both I talked about one, but I was pretty excited about both of them. But one card, like I said, I didn't know it existed, and then I realized I couldn't live without it. Probably one of my favorite pickups in a long time. And I know it's a big buildup, and you're probably going to laugh, but it is a McDonald's Chrome Combo Talents tie-dye Ray Wave, PSA 10, number to 25, Pop 1, Cooper Flag, Sarah Strong. I saw this card. I'm holding this card up too. If you're on YouTube, you're seeing it. I saw this card and I said, I have to have it. Um, I'm big on Sarah Strong right now, and I just think uh, this card being numbered to 25 of a guy like Cooper Flag, who's the number one draft pick, and Sarah Strong could also be a number one pick when she gets to the draft. So happy to have that card. And I actually did something for that to get that card that I don't usually do. Is I traded for that card. I don't trade a lot. But I did trade. I traded my Diana Taurasi, my Yukon, the NIL private signings numbered to 10 for this card. I picked this card up from my man, Chuck Bird. And speaking of Chuck, and I know I talked about this in the, at least a month or more ago. I have a recorded impromptu interview with my man, Chuck, from the Bristol show back in May, that while I'm away this week, I'm going to be dropping that this week. So you can look forward to that interview. It was a great interview. And with all the lives and everything I've been doing, I just have not had time to put that up. So now that I'm going to be away traveling, and if I would have thought about it, I would have dropped it last week. I forgot about it. I would have dropped it last week when I was sidelined with COVID. But you will get that. You'll get that next week. So definitely look forward to that. My second pickup is from my guy Tom Kirill Recognize Real. It's also a McDonald's Top Chrome. I guess it was a McDonald's day. It is the Michaela Blake's logo refractor auto. So this is, I'm going to hold that up. And you can see the little McDonald's emblems all over the card. So it's the logo refractor auto. And this is numbered to 75. So excited to have that card too. Overall, I thought the show was good. The upstairs is a lot of vintage, which it usually is. Which I don't do much of, so it's easy for me to kind of get past those tables quickly. But I was able to hit the whole show upstairs and downstairs in my 2 hours allotted time. And I was back on the road, stuck in traffic by 3 p.m. And I talk about this traffic door to door. It's an hour and 5 minutes. So when I'd set up at this show and I would leave early in the morning from my house to there, hour and 5 minutes. Going there on Friday took me an hour and 45 minutes to get there. Coming home was 2 hours and 15 minutes. And that's just all traffic. On Saturday, I went to my local Plainville show, and I have to say, knowing the East Coast National is going on to our south, and a couple shows in Massachusetts, including Best Flippin', to the north, I pulled in the parking lot 9 a.m., couldn't find a parking spot. So regardless of the other shows that are all going on, this show was still packed. Which again, it's just tells you how strong the hobby is. And I'm, and I say that we're in this little corner of the world, right? This little, one of the smaller states. And I just, in my mind, I just imagine this throughout the country. Saturday, all these local shows on Saturday are just full of people. People I talk to, people I message with from different states, they're saying the same thing. Like every show they go to, it's packed. People are buying, and the hobby is definitely strong. At this show, I was excited to find a dealer that had a 2-row box of Bowman Chrome University basketball cards. I was able to get a really decent sized lot of autos and number refractors. Um, Dear Diary, jackpot. This is exactly what I'm looking for when I go to shows. I've been to so many shows trying to find this, asking people, digging into boxes, trying to find this was what I'm looking for. Um, and I think part of the problem is people that have these cards and these boxes, I don't think they feel the value is worth the space on their table to put these cards out. That's why I think for me it's just hard to find them. I think most of these cards are sitting on shelves somewhere collecting dust in basements or garages or storage rooms, right? The old saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Um, so I'll share a couple of these with you. I'm not going to go through them all. Got the Audi Crooks auto to the green shimmer to I think 65, 85, 85. Jelani Cambridge orange auto to 25. Michaela Blake's green shimmer. Justice Carlton, Jordan Lee, another Justice Carlton, all autos, and then a whole other stack of numbered cards anywhere from 25, to 199. So yeah, I mean this just the stuff I'm looking for. I'm super excited to find this. It was definitely worth the whole trip for me to go over there just to find this, and hopefully I'll be finding more of this. So I mean, moving on really to the meat and potatoes of the episode now. Been through the 2-day recap, getting ready for the show. And every year I try to do somewhat of a hobby reset with my inventory. Um, and I also look at my PC. Like I do this kind of once a year. I go through, I'll pull all the cards out, I look through them and see if there's anything in there I'm willing to part with, especially when I'm getting ready for the hobby reset, which is usually going to be a big show where I'm looking just to sell off as much inventory as I can. And if I could say if there's some PC cards that I'm willing to part with, I can make room for something else, create some capital to purchase some more PC cards, or make room to, because I mean, and they all can't be PC, right? I mean, at the end of the day, not every card, especially for someone like me who's setting up, who's doing so much that, and to me, it's a great way to keep things moving. Just kind of keep churning, keep knowing what you have. Look through that. Look through the inventory. What was really important last year may not be as important this year, as far as PC stuff. And there may be something saying, I really want a PC. I really want to get some of this person's cards and put in my PC. So where am I going to come up with the income? Well, the money I can sell some over here and you know replace that. And I'm super excited to do this. Doesn't mean I do this every year. I sell cards on my PC, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I think, hey, now would be a good time to pull this card out that's been sitting here for a while that I know the value is 3x or 4x on this card. And who knows? Like I put a price tag on it, it may not sell. Like I always say, if the price is right, you'll sell anything, right? And what that card's worth to me may be different than what a card ladder or somebody else says. But if it's a rare card, that somebody else wants for their PC, they may pay up for it. Super excited to do this. Um, for the last few years, I was collecting inventory just to sell off at the National. And that would be my reset every year, just stockpiling these cards, building up this inventory, bringing them out there for the sell-off, right? Last year, losing my table at the National, I went to Chantilly. I did this. I sold off the inventory for that reset. This year, it's going to be West Coast Card Show. So as I get ready for the show, I'll be taking all my slab inventory. And interestingly enough, I thought I was going to have to, I was going to need to bring, because I didn't realize how much inventory I actually had. I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm going to probably have to bring some singles boxes. I'm going to need time to work on those, to put those together and things like that. Going through the slabs, what I should probably do all year, and every year I say I'm going to do this, and this year is the same thing. I say, yeah, I'm going to do that this year, is I create a spreadsheet. Right. And when I get ready for a big show to sell off, I go through and I put every card on the spreadsheet, and I look up what the current comp is. And, I put that in just so I know what I'm going with. I know what I'm looking at, and I can go back and look at prices on that too. Um, so that's what doing that this year. I'm breaking out the spreadsheet, wipe it, empty it out from last year, start again, and 2 days of, inputting cards in there. I'm like, yeah, I do not need to bring any singles boxes. Uh, it's funny for someone who buys like me, who buys so much, inventory to store it away. I forget what I have. And sometimes it's like going shopping, right? I just all this that I go and I start pulling out, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot. Oh my God, look at this card. Oh, this is so nice, right? I forget about cards that I ended up, buying. So uh, when I do this in my mind, when I'm planning this to be at these big shows like the National or West Coast Card Show, is like I just want to have the best of what I have in those cases. Um, because I know there's gonna be a lot of competition. I don't I'm going to have cards that everybody else has, but I'm gonna have a lot of cards that people don't. I have a bunch of low pop cards that I thought to myself, "Hey, this will sell well." And I have some cards that haven't sold in a while that I've purchased to bring out there that really don't have comps on it. So sometimes those are going to be a little bit more challenging to get people to buy, because your mainstream flippers, that's not a good card for them, because they want to buy things that have current comps on them that have been selling and selling and selling. Um, and one of the other things I kind of put aside is I have a bunch of low end inventory. I have those slabs, those Donruss slabs, things like that are $65 and under, that people are like, I was at the show this weekend. That's what some of these repackers are buying. It's like, yeah, this is what I want. All this inventory, like every card here, it's under $100. Like, what can we do on something like that? So now I'm like, okay, now I'm going to bring that too. Now, if I have a box of those cards, I'm going to put another box together. I'll bring that out, and just a total reset. I mean, I sometimes I call it my hobby cleanse, right? Every year, just do a cleanse, like get rid of, and then just start over. And I think sometimes that's what keeps me fresh too, right? Because what's the initial goal with all this? Sell, 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 right? So you build up, you build up, you build up, then you get excited. You're pulling cards out. You're like, oh, yeah, these cards are great. And it happens to me every year. It's not like this is the first time. You can go back and listen to previous episodes and previous years. I say the same thing. I forget the stuff that I get. I really should be, keeping an inventory sheet just so I could go look at it, so that I don't have to visually go look at things. But, this is the goal, is just to sell all these slabs, not come home with any inventory, or only come home with some new stuff that I purchased out there. And we all know the hobby is alive and well, right? Shows have been super hot. What's a better time to sell? When everyone's buying, right? I've talked about this before. You want to buy when people are selling and sell when people are buying. And I mean, it just makes sense. It makes sense to do this. And on the other hand, and I don't want to be the naysayer, right? But history tells us, and this is in my mind every year, if there's going to be a reset in the market, it it's going to happen late summer into the fall, because that's the last two times it's happened. That's when it's happened. It could happen at a different time, but to me, it's always nice to have a nice complete reset, a nice cleanse in the summer, right? Roll into the fall, cash heavy. If the market goes down, great time to buy, right? And if not, start investing into next year's inventory. So I'm okay with a complete reset of my inventory. And also, like I said before, I this year I did pull out a few PC cards, and I'm gonna price them what I'm comfortable selling them for. They may or may not sell. If they don't, they'll go back into the PC. Um, Regardless of what happens with those, when I get back after being out there. Whatever I come back with will be inventory moving forward, whatever doesn't sell, and then put a new hobby plan together moving forward for the next year. Right? I still have hundreds of cards out at PSA, which probably are not going to start coming back until September or October. I don't have many shows planned for this fall. I only have two big shows planned, really, 2 Mohegan Sun shows, 1 day in September and a 2-day in November. A lot of show possibilities, but I really haven't put a plan together for the next 6 months. I just wanna kinda evaluate to see what the market looks like over the next month or 2. And besides, I'll still do all the regular local stuff here. Um, and I guess you could say Mohegan's my local show too. I mean, it's only an hour away, but it's definitely a bigger show. Definitely wanna keep an eye on the market, and that will certainly dictate not only my inventory, but what shows I'll be set up at. That's all I got for you today. That's my plan. And like I said, I am getting packed up and ready to go out to Anaheim. I'm super excited. First time doing this show. A lot of people have reached out to me, which I appreciate, saying, look, if you need anything, you need any pointers, you need any information, I'm here. I've done this show. So super excited about that. I am going to bring some equipment with me. I don't know if you're going to get anything out there. I'm not going to promise anything, but I may just do some recaps or just depending on how it goes out there. Because again, like I could do this at the National because I know the National and I know I'll have time in the evening and stuff like that. But this is going to be a little different. My son lives out there, so I'm going to be spending some time, having some dinners with him out there and spending some time with him as well. So I'm not sure what the plan looks like, but if you're subscribed, you'll be notified when I drop something. So please subscribe. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you like what you hear, please definitely subscribe. And most importantly, tell a friend and spread the word. Until next time, take care of yourselves and everyone around you.